and then this Rangers Celtic game, I'll probably be on the Eiffel Tower.
Just as well you never said I was about to do an Eiffel Tower there. That's an anniversary present.
Trust you, so fucking hell.
That's definitely going in the outtakes.
Oh, dearie dear.
Hello.
Hello. What's happening?
It's shite.
It really is.
She just did the whole pod singing to each other.
Oh my word.
Edge of the centre circle.
Oh, it's 1-0 to Kyra Almaty. Oh, it's no. Oh, it's been disallowed, bastard.
Oh, bugger.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
That's getting kept in as an outtake.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself.
Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the next episode of the Are You Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek, with me is my co-host Dave, and if you thought it was going to be a wee bit lighter than last week, it's certainly not going to be that way.
Hello, Derek. How bad is this?
Are you a bit depressed, Dave? Because I am.
Very depressed. It's absolutely. If I didn't laugh, I would cry, Derek. I really would. I still can't get over how bad things have been and how poor the performances have been and how little progression there seems to be with this absolutely dire team that we're watching at the moment. But unfortunately, we're going to have to get into two games, one victory, which was equally as appalling, even though we got the victory, and one absolute spanking, as you're going to get into shortly.
The only way is up, yeah, baby.
Unless you're Rangers.
It's going to be one of those podcasts. We're going to try and keep it a bit light, but it's going to be quite difficult. So you may find us breaking into song now and again. So we need to keep the spirits up somehow.
Exactly. You know, it even goes to far as to say that your Sean Connery impersonation still wouldn't lighten the mood, Derek.
That's because it's that good.
Aye, right. Okay.
So, without further ado, we will go down that fateful path and go down the tunnel and onto the park. As ever with the last few podcasts, I mean, it's a bit strange this doing this every single week, Dave, considering we've had podcasts out every week of the season so far, but we're still in the transfer window. A couple of things to talk about this time. The first one is signing Jayden Mighoma. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's signed on a season-long loan from Brentford. He's a left-back. He's had 3 years left in his deal, so it doesn't appear that there's any obligation or option to buy. It's really a short-term fix, but that's the kind of thing we need right now, and it was an 11th hour addition to our Euro squad, taking the place of Barami, so we'll get into that very shortly, won't we?
Yes, we will. As you say, another loan signing, young lad, not much experience, high hopes for him at one stage, got transferred for quite a big fee, but again, another player which I think reeks of English Championship. If you can play in the Championship, you'll scoosh it in Scotland. That's the type of feeling that I'm getting for the vast majority of the players, Derek. And maybe I'm being unfair and just a bit fed up, but that's just again what this looks like. You know, a young lad that got a big fee, he'll come and run riot in Scotland, and I hope that's the case. But I'm just it's just this narrative that seems to be with all of our signings just now. So I'll just have to wait and see how the lad performs until I can give you my actual full verdict on him.
Something tells me he's got links to Martin as well. Now, there's a few signings that we've had that have got links to Martin, either previously worked under him or played with him, and people are outraged at that. But you tell me a manager anywhere in the history of football that hasn't went on to sign players that he knows and he trusts. So we'll get into it obviously in the games, but you can't take that against the manager. I know it got levelled against people like Warburton, and I know we've done it ourselves as well, but that's happened throughout history. Take of that what you will. Martin was also asked about Mendy in the presser, and he gave what people thought was a short answer, and people thought he didn't come across well. I thought he did, to be honest, but that was just me. People are really just wanting to pick up on anything just now. He stated that he had never spoken to him or seen him in his life. 2 days later, there were reports in the media that we've had ended interest. Here's the thing. With the way we've went about our business with most transfers this summer, were we even ever interested? Who knows? That might explain Martin's reaction to that.
Yeah, I know. Again, though, the players that I think we're more that they're linked to are guys in the similar mould of the ones that we've got already, guys that have been playing in the Championship, guys that he knows well, and this guy doesn't fit that profile. So, as you say, it looks as if the interest is ended, but there was a lot of talk about us being linked with him, but don't know anything about the guy. Another profile young player, not a lot of experience, and I don't think that's what we're needing at the moment, Derek. I think we're needing somebody with a bit of experience, especially if it's a defender. But yeah, again, we'll just have to wait and see who comes in, because it's evident that we need another defender in there.
Yep. Outgoings this time, we've got Robbie Fraser has joined Dunfermline in a permanent deal, so we wish him all the best there. Just a pity he's going to be working under Neil Lennon again.
Yes, I know, but we'll try not hold that against the guy at all. And I'm sure Neil Lennon will know that he's got himself a very good young player there as well. So, we wish him all the best.
Yep. And the only other rumour I've got here is that Lille came in for a loan for Igman. No loan fee, no option or obligation to buy, just a straight loan. They were given short shrift apparently, and quite honestly I would have used 2 words with them. One begins with F and the other off. I mean, I suppose there's the old adage, nae cheek, nae chance, but yeah, I mean, Lille are a big club. They didn't need to be coming in with that kind of pish for us. And it goes back to the whole thing of other clubs outside of Scotland thinking they can just come into Scotland and pick off players for virtually nothing. You know, it's not on, and I'm glad our board are sticking to the guns with fees for players now as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll go into the games now. The first game we've got to cover, Saturday the 16th of August. It was a 4-2 win at home against Alloa in the League Cup last 16, and that's put us into the quarter-final against Hibs. 4-2 seems a decent result until you actually get to the nuts and bolts of it. It was... I'm not even going to say hard fought. It's more a case of it was much more difficult than it needed to be. Dave, I was in the pub, so my view might have been kind of beer goggles part of it, but you're going to go into it, you taking notes, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I wish that I'd have been in the pub drinking as well as I was watching this, especially the defensive performance. Now, Derek, first of all, and I know hindsight is a great thing considering that horrific show last night, but I was very surprised to see the amount of changes that Russell Martin made for this game. I was 100% behind you. Put the team out that's going to play your match against Bruges, and I know people say, but worried about injuries and all that. It's quite clear that our team need games, and they need to start gelling a lot better, and they need to start clicking a lot faster. And a game against lower league opposition, I think, would have been the perfect thing for them. But no, he made 10 changes to the team that played Alloa on Saturday. The starting lineup being Kelly in goals, who was also the captain, Aarons, Jigga, Fernandez, Cortez, Rothwell, Rice, Barame, Dowell, Moore and Danilo. On the bench, Tavernier, Butland, Barron, Asgard, Cameron, Antman, Igaman, Gentles and Curtis. Now, straight away, you're saying to yourself, who's playing left back? Not a recognised left back in there. We know that there's been a lot of talk about both Jefty and Ridvan going. None of them were there. None of them were on the bench either. So it was Bailey Rice that got put in at left back. Quite unfair for the lad who's a centre midfielder, but again, he can play on the left-hand side, so I think that was what his thinking was. So it was also a debut for Spurs loanee Mikey Moore, who had finally got his international clearance since he turned 18. So he was playing on the wing, but straight into the action in the game, and Moore demanding the ball straight away, and I thought this is quite good. This is a guy that wants to get on the ball. He has a close range shot, but it's well wide. That was in the second minute. Moore again a couple of minutes later with a low cross spilled by the keeper and cleared, so it was causing them some problems earlier on. Rothwell in the 11th minute, through ball to Moore, cuts inside into the box, hits a curling shot, parried by the keeper and cleared. So there you go, first 11 minutes, Moore in amongst all the action there. Then a mix-up in defence, though, in the 12th minute. A minute later, Kelly runs out. He doesn't control the back pass, has to slide tackle the Alloa attacker. He had to get the tackle perfect. Anything could have happened. They could have been sent off. The ball could have been skipped past him. That was a close call for me. But just a minute later, Rangers did open the scoring, and it was patient play. Rothwell to Barami on the edge of the box, out to Moore on the left, back into Barami, and Barami just turns and hits a fantastic curling shot into the top corner, past the goalkeeper. No chance. Fantastic goal, Derek. Superb stuff.
Yeah, absolutely stunning goal from him as well. And, he's always got that in him, and he just doesn't get much of a game. And I don't think he's favoured that much either.
No, he definitely isn't. So, in playing in his natural position as the number 10 as well. So, no, really good goal for him. But in the 19th minute, Alloa with their first chance, and it just came from a long ball, simple punt, right up, played up to their striker. None of the defenders were really on him. They let him have time to control it. Gets to the edge of the box, shoots. Thankfully, it was straight at Kelly and goals, but really, really easy. I was roaring and shouting, especially at Jigger, because he just let him control it and go, which it's not good enough, I'm sorry. But then Alloa, they get an equaliser on the 25th minute, and all I've got here is shambolic, utterly shambolic, and the goal is comical. Derek, it's absolutely comical, and it all starts from Jigger losing the ball just about the halfway line. He gets caught dallying on the ball. Alloa break down the right winger gets the better of Bailey Rice. He absolutely skinned the young lad. I can't say anything more than that. He completely skinned him. He got on the wrong side of him, straight into the box, fires a low cross. Now Kelly, he saves it, comes out to the Alloa attacker, who shoots, hit straight at Rothwell. The ball's bouncing about all over the place. We have another chance to try and clear the ball. It comes back, and then it falls for Kelly just to punt it anywhere. He does that, but instead of clearing the ball, he hits the ball straight off Rothwell, and it ends up in the back of the net to make it 1-1. Absolute Keystone Cops defending there, Derek. Comical stuff, schoolboy stuff. It just looked completely amateurish and just a complete shambles.
I mean, there was an element of luck to it as well, absolutely, but it's just the number of times we had the chance to clear it, and the only thing missing from it was Benny Hill music, really. That's about it.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. Thankfully, 3 minutes later, we went back ahead, and it was a free kick on the right wing. Simple stuff, ball to the back post. There's Big Fernandez with the header, gets up, powers it down into the ground, bounces into the top corner of the net. Totally simple stuff, Derek. It's things like that I like to see. Just get a really good delivery, get your big men in there and get them attacking the ball, and that was 2-1 to Rangers.
I mean, he's a massive guy. There's your target man for set pieces. I thought we were building a bigger team for things like that, and there he's proven it, but he's never seemed to be getting a game. Other people are getting a game ahead of him just now, which, given Jigger's performances last night and in this game, then why isn't he getting more of a game?
Exactly, and I actually thought Fernandez also looked so much more assured on the ball also, which is what we're told that Russell Martin is looking for in his defenders. He looks as if he can carry the ball. He has got a good first touch for being such a big guy. So I realise he's not got a lot of experience playing at a higher level, but as you say, going by how bad our defence is at the moment, especially giving the ball away, it can't be any worse. But anyway, 36-minute Jigger, he shoots from distance, parried by the Alloa goalkeeper and cleared. Good one-touch play in the 40th minute. Barami in the edge of the box, turns quickly, hits a low shot, but again, straight at the goalkeeper and cleared. And then in the 45th minute, Rice, he has to come off. Now, it was an injury, or it had to be an injury, because you don't just come off just before half-time. So James Tavernier comes on, and he is deployed on the left-hand side. Into the second half, Cortez, this is the first time I've really mentioned him. He had a really quiet day. He gets to the byline, low cross to Danilo. He tries to backheel it. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do. He tries to backheel it first time. He had nobody in front of him. He had time to take control and turn and shoot. I don't know, but didn't come to anything. But just very pedestrian, no intensity at all. 64th minute, Barami, he hits a shot at the edge of the box. The keeper saves. The ball is out to the onrushing Cortez. It looks as if he was just going to fire the ball into the back of the net. The Alloa defender gets back and diverts it for a corner. Now, there is a tangle there and there's a lengthy VAR check, and it's naturally a check for handball. I didn't see it at first, but when you can see there, the defender did use his arm to get back, and when the ball came, it is deflected past the post. Wee bit unlucky, Derek, because he was in there just to try and divert the ball. It did come off his arm and go past the post to stop the ball from going into the back of the net, and the referee did give the penalty. What did you think of that decision?
I mean, my mate in the pub said it was soft, but it's one of these ones where it's unlucky just the way he's dived in, but it has hit his hand and stopped the ball potentially going in there. So it was going goal bound, it stopped it going in. Yeah, it's a penalty all day long.
Yeah, and on the 67th minute, James Tavernier steps up, fires it low to the left-hand side into the back of the net to make it 3-1 to Rangers. 68th minute, sub Rothwell, Moore and Danilo off. Baron, Igman and Asgard's on for his long-awaited debut. 71st minute, Barron with a good low strike saved by the Alloa keeper. 72nd, Igman offering more in the 4 minutes that he'd been on than what Danilo had done in the whole game. He was causing a lot of issues because he was just getting the ball, turning, running at the defence, putting them under pressure. He fashioned a chance for Dowell right in front of goal, but his shot was charged down, really unlucky. But then again, 79th minute, defending again, Alloa score. And it's just absolutely shocking. Simple stuff. It's a free kick on the right wing after Aarons fouls the winger. The winger actually nutmegged him, Derek. He took the utter piss out of him, nutmegged him. He pulled him down. And the ball's played into the back post. Just a simple ball to the back post. Dowell is marking the guy on the back post. Instead of facing the ball to see where it was coming, Dowell has his back to the ball and is facing the defender who's going for the ball. So he doesn't know where the ball is. The defender jumps up, heads it down, there's a scramble, and the Alloa player pokes it in to make it 3-2. It's just, again, schoolboy stuff. And I know we're going on about Dowell, Derek, but that really was absolutely shambolic defending there. I mean, you just don't turn your back to the ball at all. You need to know where the ball is as well as where the man is, and he just did not have a clue.
It's symptomatic of the team just now not having a clue, and without trying to get onto his back all the time. This is, as you said, schoolboy stuff, but it's football and basics here. It's basics we're talking about that the team are not getting right.
It was just really, really poor. 84th minute, Cortez comes off. Derek, again, did very, very little in this game. I was expecting him to really shine and put on a performance, especially, no offence, but to Alloa, 2 leagues below, he did very, very, very little. And Curtis came on, and it was Curtis that put a shine on the game, because in the 90th minute, Rangers get the 4th goal. And Dowell, to be fair to him, collects the ball in a halfway line. He runs, he puts a through ball to the edge of the box and plays Curtis through on the right-hand side. And he just strolls into the penalty area as cool and calm as you like, and just passes the ball past the goalkeeper, comes off the bottom far post and into the back of the net. A sweet goal, a simple goal, and a boy who just seems to be able to score goals from the wide areas in midfield. And again, I don't think the boy has put a foot wrong when he's played for Rangers and scored some important goals, and that certainly was an excellent goal for him. Just simple stuff, and that made it 4-2 to Rangers, and that was the last real play of the match.
I mean, here's a 19-year-old who's just came into the team and he looks confident. He looks competent as well, which is the more incredible thing. This whole age thing with some of the players coming in, that they're youngsters, it doesn't fly with me, because there's a 19-year-old who's come in and he's proven himself straight away, and he looks one of the very few shining lights of the team this year. And it was a cracking goal as well, once again.
The one thing I'll say about him, Derek, I watched Mikey Moore and he did look quite impressive. He looked fast, he's got really quick feet, he was very direct. He was looking to go on the ball and get in there. But the thing I like about Curtis is it just seems to be a goal threat. Even if he's very, very quiet in a game, even if his first touch isn't the best, he just always gives himself a chance to get in and goal. Very like what Scott Arfield used to do for Rangers as well. He could be very quiet, Arfield, but he would make those deep runs, get on the end of it. He would be like a sort of number two striker, and that's kind of like what Curtis is as well. And I think that we need to be giving him more opportunities, considering that there's boys in the team that are the same age and younger than him. We can't use that as an excuse that he's, bedding them in and he doesn't want to give them too much football, because we've got a lot of young players in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said, that got us into the quarter-finals. Hibs and Livingston were playing the next day, and it turned out that it was Hibs that won that. So, that's going to be on Saturday the 20th of September. That's at Ibrox as well. The time has still to be confirmed, but, that's going to be a difficult game, and the first trophy of the season is up for grabs, and we need to be playing a hell of a lot better. But we'll get to that when it comes. The next game we've got to cover was last night's game, Tuesday the 19th of August. It was a 3-1 loss at home against Club Brugge in the Champions League Playoff Qualifier, Leg 1. Now, we all knew that this was going to be a difficult game. Bruges are a very good side. On the back of how we've been playing in Europe over the past 3 or 4 years, I wouldn't say it was an unsurmountable task though, and that was the thing. However, within 20 minutes, basically our Champions League dream looks as if it's in tatters, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It was a horror show, complete horror show, as you say, in the first 20 minutes. Everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. And unfortunately, again, down to basic stuff, Derek, a wee bit better organised than the score would never be that it was, and basic mistakes that led to our downfall.
Yeah. So we lined up Butland, Aarons, Suter, Jigga, Mighoma, who was just signed the day before, so he was straight in. Rothwell, Raskin, Diomande, Antman, Gassama and Danilo. On the subs bench, you had Kelly, Tavernier, Barron, Asgard, Cameron, Dowell, Igman, Fernandes, Moore, Gentles, Curtis and Hutton. So quite interesting that for a game of this stature, Tavernier is put on the bench.
Yeah, it was, yep. And again, I've still to see what Aarons is offering better than what Tav is, Derek. I'm not saying that Tav's absolutely amazing, but I've still to see what Aarons has to offer.
Yeah. So basically, it went to shit from minute 1 of the game. We were on the back foot straight away. They looked clearly up for it, as they should be. And on the 3rd minute, absolute calamity, and I've started it off with what the actual fuck. Danilo has a shot near their goal. It was deflected out to their midfielder deep in their own half. He plays a long ball into our half. Jigga was chasing back. He was expecting Butland to come well out of his box and get it. He was completely unaware of the attacker nipping in behind him, who robs him of the ball, takes it forward and lobs Butland, who had came out to the 18-yard line by that point. Absolutely atrocious. And I've said in the post-match, we've played it far too often, this whole sweeper-keeper thing, and there's clearly a confusion and a miscommunication in defence here. Now, it did appear that Butland did start to come out, and maybe that gave Jigga the hesitation, but and I've seen people online saying, no, Butland's got to take some blame for that as well. I'm sorry, if you look at where the ball was, when it got played forward, it was at the edge of the centre circle when Butland started to make his way out of the box. So he had to make out about 40 yards there. So in no system in world football are you going to expect a goalkeeper to charge 40 yards up the park to clear a ball which the defender should have got in the first place. He just completely switched off. This is 100% on Jigga, and it's the basics of defending. We need to scrap this whole sweeper-keeper thing because we don't have the defence to do it. Nobody can trust the defence at this point. But it was Jigga with the basics of football here, and it was completely on him. And And this is the guy who actually started off very well for us. And in the last couple of games, he's just absolutely disintegrated.
Yeah. Totally. And Derek, I've been reading in disbelief that there are loads of people online on social media that are actually putting Butland at fault for the goal.
Yeah.
Butland would have had to have sprinted like Usain Bolt in his prime to get anywhere near that ball. Let's be perfectly honest. That was down to Jigger. I realised that Butland had made the move and Jigger seen him, but you've got to be able to judge that to say there's absolutely no way that my keeper's making that. And it was just diabolical. Good finish by the Bruges player. He didn't go over Butland, who was in no man's land, but just unacceptable defending. Really, really, really unacceptable. And as you say, Jigger looked to be one of the better signings, but the last 2 weeks he's looked so unsure of himself, and the lack of basics has been unbelievable.
It's more the point in that move where even if he was allowing Butland to come out and get that, he completely slowed down and he was completely unaware of his surroundings. So what was he thinking? I really don't know. But anyway, the next piece of play I've got here, and I've put what the fuck also. On the 7th minute, Bruges went 2-0. It was a corner in from the right, an outswinger to the penalty spot, which finds the attacker. He doesn't even have to move, which is a complete contrast for our corners, by the way, because we always have to have players moving and all that. But he was in acres of space, no marking whatsoever, and a side foot volley into net. It was again another cracking finish. But where was the marking?
It was non-existent, completely non-existent. And I've watched this goal back more than anything, and there are at least 3 Rangers players in there, Derek, that could easily have backstep 2 paces or sidestep 2 paces, and the guy wouldn't have been able to get the shot off there. There's 3 players all standing, really marking no one, really, and it's because of this sort of zonal marking that we've got. And it left him with acres of space. And as you say, it wasn't even like a thunderbolt shot. He had time to place his shot past Butland. I didn't think that Butland could cover himself in much glory either for that, Derek, because it wasn't a shot at pace. But Butland seemed quite slow when he went down. It was a good strike, an accurate strike, but he should never, ever have got the chance to have a shot and goal, regardless whether the marking was non-existent.
Yep. It never really got much better. 9th minute, it was a switch of play from Bruges from left to right. They pick up the ball, they turn one way, crosses in and deflected over the bar for the corner. Again, still never got any better, and they had the bulk of the possession. And on the 20th minute, a bad situation got even worse because Bruges made it 3-0. Utterly shambolic defending once again, ending in a stunning strike. Several attempts to knock it away. Raskin with a half-hearted attempt at the edge of the box to clear it. He flicked it up. Rothwell tries to head it away, but he only headed it right into the path of their players. The ball only goes a few yards right into the path of their player, and they control it and hits a stunning strike into the back of the net. I'm lost for words with this defence now.
Rothwell, you would think that he had cement in his boots because he was right up with play in the middle of it. The ball gets lost and his tracking back was kind of non-existent. It was down to a very slow jog. It was very much the defence is there, they'll deal with it. And then again, we can't seem to clear the ball. It comes back to Rothwell. He has a really poor header away. And to be fair, the guy that hit the shot, Derek, that's their central defender. He'll not score another goal like that in the rest of his career. It was a one-off. What a strike it was. Best goal of the night. But all again because we just can't do the basics in defence and clear the ball. And again, I think it comes down to this. We never seem to see our players just hoof the ball away from the defence, do we? It's the way that Russell Martin's trying to instill this. If you've got the ball, you keep a hold of it and try and get the pass away. But if you're not good enough to defend and get the ball away, just get it to fuck away for your penalty area, but they just don't seem to be able to do that. Again, the basics of defending, shambolic. It was some strike by their player, but as you say at that stage, 3-0 down, where was it 20 minutes played at that point? We were fearing the worst. We were fearing another Liverpool scoring sort of 7 goals against us because it was just an onslaught and we couldn't deal with anything at that stage. Just absolutely shocking.
Yeah, the boos ran out after every goal, to be honest, but more so this one, and fans started to leave the stadium at this point, and to be honest, I don't blame them. 21st minute, we had a shot that was well off target. 26th minute, Rothwell with a free kick from 20 yards off the outside of the post and out. 32nd minute, decent play, winning the ball back in midfield, getting it forward quick and ending in Gassama on the left, hits a curling shot on the deck but goes wide. 38th minute, Bruges with possession, ending in the ball to the right side, just outside the box, and a shot and a huge save from Butland to put it out for the corner. And the last piece of play in the first half, 47th minute, Aarons gets caught with the ball on the right side of our defence, allows the attacker to get in behind him and gets a shot off, but fortunately it went well wide. That was half time. A number of changes could have happened there. It was on Amazon Prime the first time Rangers have been on Amazon Prime, I think. It was Scott Arfield and Alan McGregor doing the punditry with Gabby Logan there.
That's a strange combination. A very strange combination. Poor Gabby Logan. That's all I can say. I think that's probably her first game that she's had watching Rangers, but I feel sorry for her.
And I've got to say, for Big Shagger not to be very comfortable in front of the camera before, I thought he came across brilliantly last night as well. And I've got a quote here which was hilarious, what he said: "Soapy day nothing." It was just the way he came out with it. And it's like, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know who Soapy is, to be honest. So,
or what day and nothing means.
But it was quite clear he was absolutely raging at the whole situation, and you know, so he'd actually done quite well. But as I said, a number of changes could have been made. Both Arfield and McGregor thought there was going to be a number of changes, and there was none. Don't understand that whatsoever. But we started off the second half really brightly, and we did get a goal on the 50th minute with Danilo scoring. It was the first shot on target we had all game, which is telling. Yep. The bigger thing, though, is it was Danilo's first goal in 22 games from us.
Oh.
So, I mean, we've been persevering with him throughout pre-season into the start of the season. The fact that it's taken him 8 games to get a goal is quite ludicrous. And I think, if anything, that highlights the fact that we need a permanent, proper striker, don't we?
100%, Derek. We need a striker who can hold the ball up. That is the big thing now. Big Cyril frustrates the life out of me. He really does. But he certainly can hold the ball up a lot better than what Danilo can. He's a bigger goal threat than what Danilo is. So that's saying something. The one player I was hoping that, and we've not been speaking about him much because of all of the rumours, is Igaman. If he could get a tune out of Igaman and get him scoring goals, he's the better option than both of them. But we've kind of forgot about him because of he's not really been there. He got injured, and then there was all these rumours saying that he was away, blah, blah, blah. But Danilo, for me, is third choice, and I've said it for a while, Derek, with the injury history, with the fact that he doesn't really do anything in a game. I know he did score there. He's just the wrong type of player in the system that we've got. We need a forward player that can hold the ball up and link with the front two, and he doesn't seem to be able to do any of that.
No. But anyway, the goal itself, digressing there slightly, it was some nice play and the ball getting played out to the left side, a lovely cross on the deck to the middle, and Danilo sliding in to put it into the net. And I even think it was Meg Homa that actually put the cross in as well. So decent all round, and started off this half brightly, as I said.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
54th minute, some good pressure, working the ball into the box. Danilo gets a flick shot and blocked. Falls back to Rothwell, who shoots, but it was blocked as well. That was some good all-round play. 55th minute, we were caught napping and there was a quick break. They went down the right, a cross in on the deck and cleared out for the corner by Suter, so that was quite dangerous there. 57th minute, a corner in from the right. Diomande marking a player, but still allows him to get a volley off, and a great save by Butland to push it out for the corner. 61st minute, Gassama with a shot from the left, curling on the deck and just by the post. 61st minute as well, Danilo and Diomande off, Eggman and Asgard on. 68th minute, a quick break by Bruges ended in a cross from the left and a shot in the box, but right at Butland and a comfortable save. 70th minute, Ant-Man and Magoma off, Moore and Tavernier on. And a controversial moment because in the 79th minute, Gassama had the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled out as he apparently kicked it from the keeper's hands. The play itself, it was outstanding from Gassama, driving the ball into the box from the left side. Eventually, it taking on players individually. He pokes the ball goal bound. It deflected off the defender. It was deflecting into the net. The keeper got two hands to it just as Gassama was hitting it into the net, and it went in the net. There was a VAR check. The referee went to the screen and instantly, within 10 seconds, he ruled it no goal. Dave, we've been corrected online apparently that the fact that it doesn't matter if the keeper has full control of the ball. He had two hands to it, so it makes no difference whatsoever. It's ruled as a foul. I don't know, Dave, has the rule changed around that? Because we were told from pundits all along, everybody even said the keeper has to have full control of the ball. Now, the two things that play into this was not full control. Right, if that rule no longer applies and it's just two hands, then fair enough, did he get two hands onto it? Yes. But it happened in the same millisecond as Gassama had shot the ball. So for me, it's a 50-50. So the advantage should be given to the attacker in this case. But of course, the keepers always get the benefit of the doubt, which is absolute nonsense. So for me, it was a 50-50 and not a foul. But I've been told I've got my blue specs on, so...
Well, as I say, I thought it was definitely a goal when I saw it, but as you say, exactly the same as you, we've been told by quite a few people today, and I take it the rule must have changed for that, Derek, so because I thought it was very something to not give it as well, and that goal could really have changed the tie completely. It would have given us a bit of hope going into the next one, but it wasn't to be.
No. 86th minute, Rothwell off and Cameron on. 94th minute, a big chance for Bruges on the break, ending on a good save from Butland, and that's how the tie ended. So booze round the stadium quite rightly. The first 20 minutes absolutely killed us. I think Martin in his post-match was overpraising the players in the second half. It was undoubtedly a better second half, but that wouldn't be hard. And I think in the second half, we've shown what we can take the game to them. But even still, they had the better chances in the second half, bar obviously the goals, or the goal and the non-goal. They still had the better chances overall. So we're not 100% dead and buried yet. It's going to be a very, very big ask. I mean, basically, we need to have a complete 180 from the team and just absolutely go hell for leather, not caring if we're going to leave gaps at the back. Stop this absolute nonsense with the sweeper keeper, and just everybody needs to be switched on. However, given the fact that this was a big important game and they all completely switched off for 20 minutes, if we even do make the Champions League, I am very fearful for us, because I think it could be a massive embarrassment the way we're playing just now. And I don't think the Europa League is going to be a picnic anyway at this present moment. But we need to sort out this back line, because, I mean, there was 3 out of the 4 back line last night were loan players. That's not a way to sort your back line out. The keeper, I mean, as much as he's been good and kept us in it, there are still questions remain until he starts proving himself fully. I know he saved us a few times last night as well. The midfield need to get their act together. Diamande has been absolutely hopeless so far. I don't know why he's getting a game over Cameron just now. Cameron's been one of the very few shining lights. Gassama's been a shining light as well so far. Everybody else, though, it's been pretty ropey, pretty poor to an extent. Ant-Man had a great debut, and we've never seen anything from him so far.
Gassama's been the shining light, as you say, Derek, up front. Cameron has played well. But again, I've spoke about young Curtis, and I know that he doesn't get the ball and run at players, but he just always seems to find space. He's always a goal threat, so he should be in there. The big one for me, I've mentioned him already, Igaman. I think he gives us so much more, but again, you don't know where his head is. The two glaring things, like you said, we need a striker, but we need a defender. We need an experienced defender in there. And I know that they're going on about having young players and player training model and things like that, but Our defence is just absolutely shocking, and I don't know. I'm a loss for words. You said there that we need to go hell for leather and not worry about leaving gaps at the back. That's kind of what's been happening at the back anyway. Do you know what I mean? There's no change there. We just look as if we're going to concede every single time a team attacks on us, and it doesn't matter what team it is, what status that they are. We look as if we can't defend and that the other team's going to put us under pressure. That is really worrying for me.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just want to take a wee moment to talk about Russell Martin here. Now, I think it's fair to say that very few of us wanted him in the first place, but I've always caveated that with who was the other option, because it was basically somebody with zero experience and we were going on the back of an exotic name in his dad's reputation. So there was nobody else out there that anybody really wanted, and there was nobody else in the frame by the look of it as well. We've got him. Whether he's going to get a lot of time, I'm not too sure. Certainly the next 3 games, which we'll get into, are going to be a big test. We come away with nothing from those 3 games, then it's going to become even more toxic than it already is. But I want to kind of talk about the absolute nonsense that's out there already. I know there's issues. We've not seen anything yet of his team he's promised us. I am not in the camp where I'm defending him. I'm not in the camp where I'm slating him. I'm just saying that you need to be pragmatic about this, where there's been money spent on him. Are we really just going to sack a manager this early into the season already? And then the next manager's got to pick up the pieces, and he's probably going to have no budget for the winter, maybe a very limited budget for the summer, and we're just going to go through this rigmarole every single season. This is a long process, and I think the club maybe need to come out and say, look, we might not win anything this year, but we need to be realistic about things. We're going to give it our all, but we need to be seeing that on the park, which we're not just now. Some of the nonsense I'm talking about, and I've made a comment about this online, Russell Martin is an enemy of Rangers Football Club. Shite player, even worse manager. Why is our club like this? That is fucking ridiculous. I'm enemy of Rangers Football Club. Seriously. I mean, the fact that he's a shite player for us doesn't make any difference for a start. It means nothing. But to call him an enemy of Rangers Football Club, I've questioned that, and then somebody says the truth. That's exactly what it is. Fuck him and his maw. He made a comment in the presser about the abuse he's been getting, and he made a kind of jokey comment about his maw. Now that's been used against him. There's somebody as well tonight has done a big chart, and it's bordering on sycophantic, this. A big spreadsheet about a win-loss record, and they've colour-coded it and all that after 8 games. Nobody in football judges a manager in their first 8 games. Yet there's somebody to forward the narrative they don't want Russell Martin, saying that he's had the worst record in the first 8 games. See win records. See individual stats like this. And the win ratios, they mean absolutely fuck all. For the fact that every single manager has different remits at different clubs. Russell Martin's first 8 games have consisted of Champions League qualifiers for a start. They've obviously put Struth in his first 8 games. That's a completely different era, a completely different way of playing football. You've got Murty. How the fuck can you put Murty in that table? You've got Advocate, you've got all the different managers there. It means absolutely nothing because they all had their own set of circumstances with this. So this is the kind of nonsense that some of our fans are coming out with. No, I'm not being an apologist for the poor performances we've seen and the lack of anything we've seen so far. I'm just saying you need to be a wee bit realistic about things, Dave.
There's been realistic, Derek, and again, I'm no one for completely overreacting, especially with the absolute idiots that you read online, the people who remain anonymous and put things on. I am worried, Derek, and have been worried from the beginning about Russell Martin, and I've told you my reasons. Russell Martin, to me, is another one who has the opinion that he can bring anybody up, like what Michael Beale did. Like what Mark Warburton did, he can bring anybody playing in the lower leagues in England up to Scotland, because Scotland is such a poor league that you could bring anybody up that's playing in England and they'll be a star. This is the worry that I got, and I've been saying to myself, surely not, surely he's not going to be like that with all his analytics and everything, but it's playing out like that for me. Any player that is coming in seems to have this link to him playing in the Championship. I'm absolutely sick of it. I hear it constantly. I listen to Talk Sport and I hear things about, oh, well, he'd be brilliant up there. He'd be fantastic up there. This is my worry. I would rather see us go out and bring in some younger guys who have already proven playing well in Scotland for the domestic games. My main fear apart from that is the fact that we don't seem to see any improvement whatsoever, Derek. I honestly can't say at all the games, oh, well, it was really bad in the first game, but the second game, we had more of the ball, we had more chances. The games against Motherwell and Dundee were absolutely garbage. The game in Europe, the amount of chances that we gave the other teams, we were very, very lucky not to concede more goals because still defensively we were a shambles. We played well in the second half. Me and you were there against Panathinaikos. We played well against Pilsen at Ibrox, but again, I don't think that Pilsen were up to much, and we still gave them a few chances. Apart from that one game against Pilsen, the rest of the games has been absolutely terrible, and I've not seen any real progression at all. And I'm finding it really difficult to see where the spark is going to come from, because defensively we are so bad that I don't know how he's going to fix it, apart from bringing in two very well-established, experienced defenders at the back, which is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. So that is the fears that I have. If I could see a gradual progression of games, we're getting better and better and better, and that's what we expect. That's all I expect. I could handle it a bit more, but I'm not seeing it at all, Derek.
I think it's not just a case of he's brought players up from lower leagues in England to think there's going to be a scoosh. That might be an issue with it, but I think the bigger issue is, and it was especially highlighted last night, is the players are running about and they don't seem to know what they're doing. They don't seem to have been coached. Certainly if they have been coached, they don't seem to have a clue of how to implement it. And that is the bigger issue, and that is clearly on the manager and the coaching staff there. So I don't think it's really just a personnel, because these players they've reached a certain level. They're obviously decent enough, but it's whether they're working to this system, and we don't really know what the system is, because he keeps telling us about it's going to be fast-paced, possession-based type football, but we haven't seen that.
And it's not.
So,
it's not. It's as pedestrian as you could possibly get. We're not hitting people on the break constantly. We're not pressing in the opponent's half. All our play seems to be between our goalkeeper and our back four. That's where the vast majority of our possession comes from. It's absolutely madness.
So, the games we've got to come now is Sunday the 24th of August away against St Mirren in the Premiership. That's a midday kick-off. Wednesday the 27th of August, that's the return leg against Bruges in the Champions League Qualifier Playoff. That's another 8 o'clock kick-off. Sunday the 31st of August, that's at home against Celtic in the Premiership. That's a midday kick-off. Saturday the 13th of September, that's at home against Hearts in the Premiership. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. Saturday the 20th of September, at home against Hibs in the League Cup quarter-final. Again, the times to be confirmed. Saturday the 27th of September, that's away against Livingston in the Premiership. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. In between that, if we do make the Champions League, the first game is going to be played between the 16th and 18th of September, and the second game will be between the 30th of September and the 1st of October. If it is the Europa League we go into, the first game is either the 24th or 25th of September, and the second game is the 2nd of October. So you look at the next 5 games will tell us, I think, whether or not Martin is going to be here long term, because St Mirren, I'm worried about that game. They're a well organised side. We're not playing well enough to just rest on our laurels with this one. Bruges, that's obviously tells its own story. Celtic, I mean, they're not great either just now, but I think the way we're playing, they're going to run riot against us. Hearts, well organised side by the look of it. Granted, they got beat at the weekend. Hibs in the League Cup, well, there's your first trophy out the window. They're a well organised side as well. So 5 games, that's what Russell Martin's working with right now.
I hate what ifs and buts, But if we get knocked out the Champions League, which is looking highly likely, if we don't win against St Mirren and we get beat by Celtic, I honestly don't see any way for them to come back for that. And it's 3 big games. They're not going to be easy. But we either have to be by far the best team, making chance after chance after chance, and being beat on the break by all 3 of these teams that we're going to be playing, which I don't see happening, so that we can say, oh, there's major progression there and it's going to change in any second. And unless that's the only way I can see it, and I hate being like that, but the next 3 games are massive. No, the next 4 games, the next 3 games are massive. I don't see where we can get a victory from in any of them, to be honest with you. Even the St Mirren game. St Mirren are so big and powerful, and especially at set pieces, that any time that they get a corner or a free kick near our box, we'll be hiding behind the cushions.
I think that's the nail on the head there, Dave. The defeat last night, I think everybody knew it was going to be a tough game, regardless of that. And we all kind of think that to get to this stage, we've done well so far. It's not the fact that we got beat, it's the manner of the defeat.
Yes.
That is the problem. And like you said, it's going to be a struggle against all these games now. But anyway, we'll see what happens, and I'll be back with a post-match on Sunday. So, we'll now go into the news. So the only story I've got here is the trouble with doing podcasts every week now, is the one story that Club 1872 reared their head again out of the blue. So they had an announcement of a new working agreement with Rangers. So I'll read it out here. Dear contributor, Club 1872 is pleased to formally share an outline of new working agreement with Rangers Football Club. This ensures that Club 1872 contributors will have an ongoing ability to invest in the club, as well as say how Club 1872 funds are spent. Club 1872 currently has around £420,000 of funding available, split between 2 community interest companies. Shares community interest companies invest directly in Rangers by purchasing shares, helping to strengthen the club's financial position. Projects the CIC funds support are led initiatives that preserve our heritage, enhance the matchday experience, and deliver lasting benefits for fans. Rangers have confirmed that Club 1872 will be invited to participate in future rounds of equity funding. These funds from Shares CIC will go directly to support the club's overall capital funding programme and will not be ring-fenced to any specific project. For Project CIC, we've identified a number of initiatives for contributors to consider, designed to protect our heritage and enhance matchday experience. This could include the restoration and preservation of the trophy room, the blue room, the club crest on either side of the main stand, the mosaic tiling at the main stand entrance, the John Gregg statue. We may also support the club's programme of stadium upgrades, including refurbishment of brickwork, facade, steelworks, floodlights and seating deck, as well as major long-term projects to improve the footprint surrounding of Ibrox. These initiatives reflect on our shared commitment with the club to preserve heritage of Rangers while creating a lasting benefit for supporters. To be clear, our focus is on adding value to the stadium and fan experience, not funding routine maintenance. Next steps, we will now sit down with the club to review these potential projects in detail, assessing estimated costs, priority order and realistic delivery timelines. Once this work is complete and moving forwards, proposals will be shared with contributors for consideration. Contributors will then be invited to vote on which projects should proceed, ensuring that the final decision reflect on their priorities. The contributors meeting. Finally, we will also shortly share details of a contributors meeting where we will talk through this agreement in detail and look forward to having membership of Rangers leadership team joining us. We wish to thank the board of Rangers Football Club and its executive team for their consistently positive and thoughtful support of our ongoing collaboration. Additionally, a massive thank you to all our contributors for their ongoing support, without which our investments over the years would have not been possible. There the statement ends. So, before we get into the nuts and bolts of that, absolutely nonsense that they've came out with this before they've addressed their own failings of governance and communication. Nobody knew they were still a thing, basically.
How many people do you reckon are still members, Derek?
I don't know, because apparently people have asked and nobody knows, because they've been again, their communication and governance has been non-existent. So I don't know, from what I gather on Twitter, I mean, not a lot of people responded to this, to be honest, and I think that says it all. There are still people just continuing paying the money, but it's going to be a nominal amount at this point. So is this them trying to basically get rid of their funds they've got so they can mothball the whole thing? But the way they're talking, no, it's not. I don't understand why they want to still invest in shares, because they're never going to get up to the level needed. What they expected anyway, the 24% or whatever it was anyway, the 11%, I can't even remember now. I get the whole point of the refurb thing, but again, you've seen with the likes of the stand work last season, it's into the multi-millions. It's not into the hundreds of thousands, it's multi-millions we're talking about here. So I don't get their whole shtick with this. They have limited funds to do a lot of things. And the way that they're kind of going over arse over elbow, they'll agree with the club about what the best thing forward is, and then they'll ballot their fans. I really, really don't get this. And as I said, where is the governance? Where is the communication? They need to sort that out first and then grow their membership before they even think about doing something like this. I don't get it, Dave.
It's very strange. The way that they're coming out with that communication is as if they're still like major players when it comes to Rangers, Derek. And as you say, the vast majority of people didn't know that they still existed. So the way that they've worded it is that they've got major plans with the club and they're still... It's very puzzling. As you say, the whole lack of communication from them is what's let them down. There's no clarification from them whatsoever. And I find it strange. And as you say, if there's not been a lot of people engaging with them on social media, and that's when you can sort of get a gauge about it all. It seems to me as if they've not really got that many people. But the fact that they've managed to get a meeting with the club and they're trying to get an agreement is, I don't know, I just find it very, very puzzling that they would be able to do something like that if they didn't have some sort of connection still and some sort of clout with the club.
Yeah. So it's a case of watch this space when it comes to that, and we'll see what they come up with. But yeah, puzzling. So it's now time for Fessel Corner. My head of department is furious that some kid keeps drawing cock and balls in random places around our classroom. It's me every time. I'm a 52-year-old maths teacher.
That goes back. That actually takes me back to when I was in school, Derek, because everybody used to do that. Used to draw them everywhere.
I truly believe that any wank I had growing up was never heard by any of my parents. Now that I have a teenage son, I know this to be false. I'm 55 years old and find it harder to get erections. A cock ring helps. I use my wife's hair baubles as a homemade one. She wouldn't be happy to know.
Oh my God, right, okay.
My partner always falls asleep before me at night, so I like to cup my farts in my hand and put them over her nose. It always makes me laugh when their nose starts twitching.
Oh, belter.
Sometimes when I do a big poo, I look at the bowl and there's nothing there. I then marvel at my body's ability to produce a faeces with the perfect blend of aerodynamics and hydrodynamics that makes it possible.
As Kevin Bridges, as he would say, that's what's commonly known in Glasgow as a ghostie.
Had a hookup about 20 years ago. Woke up to an empty bed. He'd left during the night. He let himself out and locked the door back up and posted the keys through the letterbox, all because my snoring was that bad. Still mortified to this day.
Yeah, too right.
That might have been me. I don't know.
Or me.
And the last one I've got here, I used to visit Russia quite a lot on business. I always had to assume that the hotels had cameras as they like to collect information on visiting business people. So I used to flick the V's at a likely camera location while I was having a wank for a small Cold War victory. And on that note, we will end the podcast.
Yes.
So, Not a lot to be hopeful for just now, but we just need to keep going. That's what we do. We're Rangers fans. We support the club through thick and thin. I think people need to remember that. That's all I've got to say on that.
The vast majority of people are, Derek, I think, like I say, and like I said in the last pod, and the pod before that, and the pod before that, is we just need to see some progression. If we see some progression, I think it would calm us down a wee bit. But we're not seeing it, and it is leaving us with not a lot of optimism. That's a problem.
Yeah. So, all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.